So, I'm recording now. So we're recording. Um, so just starting off, thank you so much, Nancy Triplehorn. I appreciate it. So to start off, I was gonna talk about privilege today because I feel like sometimes when I be talking about stuff, people are like, "What are you talking about?" And a lot of times, I'm talking about like privileges that people have because of them being white, and people get upset at me for talking about it because a lot of times privilege is invisible. It's something that like you really can't see, and I think that because like I don't have a lot of privileges, but I do have I have class privilege in a way, and I think I have class privilege like based on some other shit, but I think it's like I don't know. I guess like I have privileges based on other privileges. But like I have light skin privilege. And I think that that has more to do with like mixed race privilege, but at the same time, I think like mixed race privilege is like it's interesting. I think that it's just very like I think most of the privileges are just like being able to claim that like you're not black or not just black and shit like that. So, but that's like a whole thing to get into. But speaking from like a privilege that I can like clock for a fact, like beauty privilege, I would say because of our European standard of beauty in this country, and I'm talking about America. People always want to like split hairs and talk like be like, oh, I'm not even in America. I'm not in America, and it's like, but I am. Like I'm talking about my experience. You know what I mean? Like they'll like people derail about the smallest things, like, and they'll be like, oh, well, you're not talking from my point of view, and it's like, well, of course not, and like that becomes like the argument is the fact that like your point of view is not one that they can see from, and it's not your fault, as someone who's oppressed, you can't choose your perspective. If you're like, and not even just being oppressed by being black, or being a person of color, rather. I think it's also like, class privilege, not having enough money to, maybe, contribute to fashion trends or, things that are going on within the spectacle. Like, I think what's like interesting now, like I guess for people to have and like I guess like it's like a really big deal right now. The I guess like the sheer look, like everyone's doing sheer, I think, and then also like everything I saw at Afropunk was like amazed. But like I definitely see things like platform shoes and stuff like that. Those things are not cheap, if especially if you're like a big-footed person. Like I'm someone who like shops at Torrid, and I've definitely looked at the shoes there, and they're really trying to charge people like $80 for a pair of creepers. It's like, damn, like if you want to be like ultra trendy or like on point with like changing like styles within like the spectacle, you really have to shell out hella money just to be on point. And that's like a privilege that you have if like you're in the right class, or if you're a privileged individual. And that's the thing, like there are people who are like, oh well, I don't have class privilege and I work hard, and it's like, okay, but like you're an oppressed person. Like as much as you work hard, there are systems in place to keep you fucking broke. And one of them is by skin color. People of color have always made less money than white people. I think like there's no way that in our history we could say white people freed us, and we make more money than them, even though that's not even the truth. Even though the truth is like slavery couldn't continue because people of color, black people in particular, were not having it. Black people were revolting all the time. There were massive slave revolts happening. There were massive revolts happening. And black people fucking fought to be free. They had no choice. Um, so I think it's just really interesting how we can have in our class in our history that we were freed by white people, and somehow we think we're equal to white people now because we have a black president. Like that's the go-to. That's the go-to. We have a black president, as if presidents mean anything. Our president means zero. You know what I mean? Our presidents don't mean anything. Like they're meaningless. Like our entire country is like you might as well think about it being machine run, because it's very clear at this point in time, 2013, Congress don't give a fuck about you. How the fuck are we racking up trillions of dollars of debt when everyone pays taxes on every motherfucking thing? The country ain't got no high-tech shit. All our buildings are looking fucked up. Have y'all seen Michigan? You feel me? I'm telling you, it's the Ponzi scheme of the century. It's the Ponzi scheme of the century, and people want to act like you wearing a tinfoil hat when you're talking about it. So it's just bugging me out. But it's realness, you know, people aren't gonna want to hear realness. It's awesome when people want to hear realness. It's awesome when people want to talk realness, but like it's something that's scary. I think it scares people to talk about it. Like, you know, I think even people that talk about it, you know, myself included, like it like worries me sometimes. It's, you know what, Kalita06, it's not up to you to convince other white people. All you can do is give them sources to literature where people of color have already explained things from their perspective and hope that that white person in particular gets it. But like, that's not your job, you know? I would say that like, if you're a person of color and you're waking up, or you're trying to wake up, or you're trying to like educate yourself, continue on. And there will be white people who hate on you. There will be people of color who hate on you, because whiteness and white supremacy is a system that's very fucking advanced. It's way beyond some shit like that you could even fucking fathom. And not really, I don't mean to make it seem like it's so fucking illustrious, but I think it's something that's so embedded in our system that it's like when you point your finger at it, there's a million other things that are like coming off of it. You know what I mean? It's like a giant shit avalanche and you're just pointing at one turd like, that's white supremacy. It's like, no, dude, it's all the shit. It's like all the shit. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think I appreciate everybody that is giving me love. Amina, oh my God, child, yes. Yes, I was screaming in New York. Um, but just like talking more about privilege in one way, like I know that like in the past, like not super recently because I've been like super in a relationship, but like when I was like single, I used to like go and get free stuff. I used to just go places and get free stuff. And like in retrospect, like wow, like moving forward in life, it's awesome still, but I like totally like didn't understand that that's a privilege of like doing all of this, like, and like I decided that like it's worth it to me, like to like put on hair, put on makeup, to go out there and to get those privileges. And one of those privileges is also like being on YouTube and like getting like recognition, because obviously like if you're on YouTube, it's very much a lookist culture where like if you're not like wearing cute clothes, if you're not looking made up, if you're not fucking cheerful, smiley, or talking about something with passion, but more importantly, as long as you look good, you can get on, you know, YouTube and talk your shit and people will fucking listen to you. You know what I mean? And I think it's important to talk about shit like that. It's important to talk about, you know, why, you know, people are where they are and like why people stay where the fuck they are and why people don't move up or down or anywhere because of the systems in place. Yeah, being a poor 15-year-old fat queer woman of color in the society, son, child, you know what I mean? That was me. I was like, yo, that's my life, you know? Like, I know your struggle, son. It's like, and the thing is, like, when I was younger, like, I didn't care about clothes at all. Like, I just was like, oh man, I had so much bigger issues, you know what I mean? Like I had so much fucking shit going on in my life, like when I was like 14, like to where like when I see like 14-year-old girls like caring about fashion and makeup and stuff like that, I'm like jealous because like I didn't get to like have like this like super femme like beauty stage in my life where like me and my mom went to the store and bought makeup and like she showed me how to use it and shit like that, like you see on TV. And then like that also goes into like, you know, the patriarchy and what women are shown in terms of like television and shit. Like I feel like we're always shown like how to put on makeup or like how to put on clothes, how much shit to like, you know, do like to ourselves, like, and like that's like a big culture, like in beauty culture, you know, like we constantly see like other women and we're like, oh, like we want to look like that, oh, we want to, you know what I mean? Well, not even remember, look at like all of like these hair commercials and stuff, like whenever we see like when they wash bitches hair. Okay, more importantly, when they were like, oh, Beyonce dyed her hair, but it was clearly a lace front. It was like, see, even when we get black women on TV, we can't see like realistic ideals of beauty for us, because like they find like these like model beautiful, and then like they'll put a basic ass white bitch on TV like Lena Dunham. Like Lena Dunham gave so many basic white bitches hope. Because like they got Lena running shit. They got Lena right in this show doing her thing. That's big. Imagine if they would have had a bitch looking like Precious doing the same shit, having her own show, doing her own thing, having her bomb ass friends. Imagine if they would have did like, you know, a Proud Family meets Precious or some shit, where Precious' whole backstory don't really exist, where she could obviously have some trials and tribulations, but goddamn, not every motherfucking thing bad in the world. Okay, you know what I mean? Like if we could just like it's just like we get these shows, and then like I said, we get these shows and we talk about everything. Like whenever POC have shows, their shows be like mad important. And it's like we begin in church, you know what I mean? There's white kids I know talking about they grew up with Cosby and learned life and shit from Cosby and shit. I'm telling you, you learn something from these fucking shows. Living Single, that was my fucking jam. You know, just so much good TV. But like now, it's like they watering us down even worse, and it sucks because it's like, you know, 90s. You know what I mean? Like 90s was good, but it's like it was always like reinforcing some kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? But it's important. That's why it's important to talk about it, and it's important to like fucking rage about it if you want to. I think it's like really interesting. Also, I wanted to kind of just talk about this as well. I was thinking about anger today. I was thinking about anger. And I was like, you know, our culture is so anti-anger, but it's so angry. You know, we're always told like, you know, anger is unproductive. Anger is like negative. It's just not going to help you do nothing. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Like, honestly, like, I feel like the idea that like you need to like modify your behavior so that you can produce something is like capitalist as fuck. You're not a little fucking machine. You're a human. More importantly, you're a fucking animal. You know what I mean? Think about your animal. Think about your dogs and cats. Them niggas chill all day. Their life is good. Their life is good. You got so much shit going on in your life, and you're not allowed to be fucking angry. You're not allowed to be angry because it won't help you to produce things. Like you have to really think about language in our society, where like we're told shit is not productive because we're supposed to be producing. You know what I mean? We're told constantly over and over again, you have to produce things for the state. The state is like your king, because it's very clear. It's very clear. People in Congress are living fucking good. People in state jobs are living fucking good. But everybody else is scrambling. Everybody else is eating garbage. It's like, you know, I understand people don't want to hear it, and it sucks because it's like coming to this conclusion is fucking disgusting, but it's also like living in the Matrix. I talked to my friend, we had a good conversation. We were talking about how sometimes we feel like we live in the Matrix. We feel like we're living in a place where we'll never really be free because like there's such a history that's always in jeopardy of being erased. I don't want to forget that slavery happened. I don't want slavery to happen again. When you say, when you create, like, when you try to over fucking write history, or you try to retell history, or you try to change it, you change the stories of the people that lived through that shit. So when you try to say that slavery don't exist, you're killing off so much fucking history. You know what I mean? Slavery was part of our history, unfortunately. But there are so many things that happened because of slavery. We created so much shit during slavery. Black people were fucking going the fuck in. We created the Underground motherfucking Railroad. We was like, niggas ain't gonna keep us here. We're leaving. You feel me? We're leaving in groups and we're going. Okay? But oh my god, black people are fucking magical. We was killing white people. White people was getting killed. That's why they had to stop doing this. That's why slavery had to stop. Because black people was fucking getting together. So Sophia, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. You know, when you have so little privilege people want to hold on to, I understand that. You know, I think for myself, like, as a fat, brown, queer person, you know, I'm always like constantly wondering, like, I'm always like raging between like the internalized hate, you know, always raging. What up, Shay? Yo, hold on. I gotta give a shout out to Shay, because I was thinking about this bitch all fucking day. I was like, yo, Shay is the homie for life. And give me 1 second. Let me get my salsa. Shay, bitch. Oh my God, let me tell you, Shay done saved the bitch, okay? If Shay didn't come around yesterday, a bitch would have had a bad day in New York. My last day in New York was so bomb because I met Shay Butter 12. That is my bitch. I love this bitch. When they bury me, we're not gonna get buried together, bitch. But I'll be buried near you, bitch. I'll be married near you. That's how much I fuck with you. If you get buried somewhere, let a bitch know. I'll get buried there too. Okay? Cause I fuck with you, bitch. Shay, you the shit. You the shit, bitch. I fucking love you. You are everything. And I appreciate you so much, really. Like, you're one of the people that really made my trip special. I'm gonna do a shout out to all my people in New York. This is not gonna be on the video, but this is not gonna be the video. I was gonna do it, but then I was like, nah, I'm gonna talk about privilege because we about to get this fucking church, bitch. We about to go in. But Shay, thank you so much again. You were the fucking bomb, bitch. I'll get Caribbean food with you any day. Okay, can I tell y'all though? I got some fucking saltfish and ackee this morning for breakfast, bitch. And they gave me 2 dumplings and 3 bananas, yo. Oh my God. Girl, can I tell you, I fucking ate. And I couldn't eat till I got on the fucking bus, and I didn't give one fuck. I was sitting in that seat by myself, going in, because I was like, I'm not trying to be eating when this bus is driving. So I ate all my shit. These white people was watching me. I was like, y'all, I know it smelled good. Fuck. You know what I mean? They was all in my plate. But let me get back into this. You know, I definitely... I think a lot of times white people, they say things. I want to just get into like the things that white people say that I don't need y'all to be saying, okay? This is what I need white people to understand. White people, listen, Jordan Ford 507, white people can't afford to give us reparations. No shade. No motherfucking shade. All motherfucking tea. They can't afford it. The diaspora is too motherfucking big. White people can't afford it. They over here, like, they can't afford it, girl. They cannot motherfucking afford it. But I'll tell you what, it don't mean that, like, white people can't get this motherfucking church and get it the fuck together. Okay, I'm gonna powder my nose for 1 second because a bitch needs some powder. So getting back into what I was talking about privilege, I think a lot of white people have these conversations with themselves where they're like, you know, it's not my fault I'm white. And you know, when you say things like that, what you're saying to me is, it's not my fault that I get to benefit at your oppression. It's not my fault that my ancestors left me a legacy that I continue to carry this day. It's not my fault that I am complicit in your oppression, because that's what it is. You know, I think white people don't understand what oppression is because y'all don't face it. So when white people try to tell me how I'm not oppressed, it's them literally saying to me, I really don't understand what you're talking about, so I'm going to tell you it doesn't exist. Because white people have decided a long time ago that they're the authority on what does and does not exist. Notice, a lot of white people think that they've invented most things, but that is not the case. A lot of white people think they've invented most things. White people think that they invented the light bulb. They think that they invented the light bulb. They didn't. They didn't at all. A black man invented the filament. The white man put a glass bulb over it. But I'm telling you, but these white people will really try to tell you if they didn't come up with it, then it don't exist. And it totally takes the power away from black and brown people. Black and brown people, they think that white people think that black and brown people don't want to contribute to like dictionaries and haven't contributed dictionaries when the root of American words is fucking Latin. Like, what the fuck? Like, are you joking? Like, are you joking? Like, are you joking? Like, they really think that they've come up with everything. They think that they've come up with every fucking thing. So whenever someone black is like, no, we came up with that, they get mad. They get mad, or they try to steal it even harder. They try to steal it in a different way. They try to take it over some other way. And it's just like, it's annoying to me because white people want to always say, we're not all like that. But when you see a white person whiten, when you see a white person white and white people, what do y'all do? Nothing. Not a damn thing. A white person would rather tell me about some racist shit than clock their racist friend. White people all day be in my inbox. What do I say to my racist uncle? Why are you inviting more racism into my life? Don't you think I experienced enough racism? Why are you telling me a story in which you felt enabled by white supremacy and your white privilege, where you didn't want to have to get involved in some shit that didn't involve you, right? Because white people love, white bitches love, oh my god, bougie smalls. I can't deal. I can't deal. Y'all are fucking nice. Thank you. Bitch, I smoked some good shit and I did my makeup, so that's what happened. My makeup, I really wanted my makeup to be on point tonight. Like, I was like not feeling my makeup in fucking New York. I don't know what was going on. I was just not feeling on point in New York. It made me really sad, honestly. And like everyone's gonna be nice and be like, you look good, but it's like I didn't feel like I looked good. And you wanna know what it was? It's like I packed a small bag, so I really didn't feel like I had like enough stuff to like really make my trip look cute. Exactly, exactly, Shea Better, exactly. Yes, Jordan Ford 507, the white gaze, the white gaze. And the thing is, you know what irks me? Like when people of color try to tell me about shit or like try to ask me questions about shit. And like today, like maybe I was being extra, I wasn't trying to be, but I wrote a status and I was talking about Macklemore because I wanted to get into this little salty fucking biscuit. Okay, I wanted to speak on Macklemore. And I want to just get into this. In the middle of this whole argument about Macklemore, a woman of color really messages me to say to me that she fucks with Ryan Lewis and she thinks he makes beautiful music. And I was like, but why do I give a fuck? And I was really like, why the fuck do I care? I'm telling you that this nigga's appropriating and you telling me that his music is beautiful. Are we having the same conversation? Not at all. And that's another whole point. But I really want to like, let me sidebar 1 second. Like, let me step off the curb onto the other curb, okay? Let me get across the street. Every comment section is not for you. Every comment section is not for you. If you don't know what the fuck is being talked about, if you don't really know what the fuck the tea is, then how the fuck can you really talk? If you about to have a conversation about how you like something that someone is critiquing, what the fuck are you adding to the conversation? Like, I just don't know what the fuck your point is. You know, it's literally like, I'm like, okay, and? You know what I mean? Unless you're gonna go in and critique with me or like, you know, like let me know what your thoughts. I don't care if you like this person. That's not for me. So I truly didn't give a fuck about this Macklemore person. And honestly, like, look, my friend Giselle, bless their heart, they tried to fucking make me listen to Same Love. And I already knew I ain't like Macklemore when I first heard Thrift Shop. Like, I heard Thrift Shop a couple times, and I thought it was a person of color when I first heard it. And because I thought I heard CeeLo. And I was like, okay. I was like, CeeLo came out with a new joint. I thought CeeLo was like doing a voice synthesizer or something. And then I find out that it's a white person with some black people co-signing it. And I was like, girl, and I was not here for it because honestly, like Kanye said, no more Elvises. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. And honestly, I'm sick of Justin Timberlake too. I'm gonna speak on it. Everybody out here talking about Justin Timberlake, I think that nigga fell off and I'm gonna say it. Everybody talking about this nigga came back, I don't see it for him. I don't see it, sis. I don't see it. But, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck. So that's just how the fuck I feel. But in terms of Macklemore winning for best hip hop song, I could fucking puke. I could fucking puke. I'm sorry, but look, here's what I'm gonna say. No, like one white person tried to say, "Oh, I'm mad. People are mad that like Macklemore did more for LGBTQIA than anybody else." Do y'all really fucking feel that way? And it's true though, cause white people is feeling Macklemore so much, it's making me sick. It's just like everywhere I fucking turn around, white people is like, "Oh, Macklemore, he doesn't rap about titties or Gucci." I don't give a franken fuck. That nigga look like Captain Crunch. Oh my god, Macklemore is the most wildest looking motherfucker I ever seen. I can't believe. I can't fucking believe. I didn't listen to fucking Eminem neither. I'm not an Eminem fucking fan. People be like, oh, why did the black community accept Eminem? No shade. Eminem paid homage. Eminem at least paid homage. If you coming out on the scene and you know you drop your motherfucking thrift shop song, whatever, your next track better have fucking homage on it. You better be saying what up to all the niggas you fucks with. But I'm telling you, cause it's two white boys and a nigga with a turntable, that's when they want to act so Diddy like they ain't got no influences. You feel me? Got me dead. I'm dead as fuck at Macklemore. I'm like, Macklemore, did you really? Like, who let their children in that Macklemore video? Because I'm mad. Jordan 4, 507, yes. Yes, Sabrina Hairston. Yes, child, he won. And it makes me sick because there's so many. Bougie Smalls, I love you. But I'm mad that like there's so many amazing black queer artists out here that are gay, that are talking about white supremacy all the time. It's like, damn, we gotta have a white dude like come out and be the face of some shit, you feel me? And they're like, oh, they're bashing Macklemore because he's not gay and he's being an ally. An ally don't make money off the struggle of the people that they're an ally to. You feel me? That's why Tim Wise ain't an ally. Tim Wise, in all his shows, says that everything he's saying is articulated better and more on point and more critically by people of color. And yet white people continue to pay him to come and fucking educate him. Despite him saying straight up that there are people that have said this shit before that he has bits off of. You feel me? And it's like white people really don't get it. Like you could, like, that's how far white supremacy goes. That like a white person could be telling other white people, y'all only hire me because I'm white and telling you about this. There's black people that already is talking about this. Y'all didn't hire them. And white people still burp the birds. You feel me? And then again, white people want to come up and say, but we're not all like that. But y'all ain't getting the ones that's like that. Y'all coming at me for criticizing them. Y'all see how backwards that is? Let's put it this way, white people, because y'all want to act like y'all not affiliated even though you are. Even though you are. Because there's different levels of whiteness. There's different levels of whiteness. It's white supremacists, people that really be going out. You know, George Zimmerman, white supremacist. That nigga go out and that nigga want to kill niggas. You feel me? He want to go out there and he want to kill black men. Okay, he wants to do that. That's what the fuck he did. But in terms of, whiteness, manifesting in ways that aren't as fucking severe, it's as simple as a white person fucking watching me fucking just live my life. Just a white person grilling me. It's as simple as a white person fucking cutting in front of me in a line and like acting like they don't hear me when I say excuse me. It's as simple as in North Carolina, you could look this up. A white woman said she felt threatened by a large group of black people. This was a family, y'all. It was a family event. This family went to a fucking Golden Corral. I wish you would tell me and my family that you feeling threatened and we gotta get kicked out of a Golden motherfucking Corral. That's white privilege, and white people don't want to get their people then. White people only want to come and snatch people up when it's people of color talking about white people. Y'all don't never want to stand up and say, hey, white person, don't be like that. Y'all don't never want to do that shit. But y'all want to come and say, don't be that angry black person. Don't be a nigger. Be a black person. Don't be, because Chris Rock got that, oh, there's a difference between niggas and black people, when there's not. And that shit justifies violence against black people. It means that whenever anyone's acting niggerish, that means they deserve violence. That means they deserve to be not trusted. That means they deserve to be treated bad. That's anti-blackness right there. And all these people watching it laughing. And people even talk about it like it's real. This is being recorded, Chakra Child. Exactly. White people should do their anti-racism work for free because they have the most privilege. It's fucked up to me that Tim Wise makes any fucking money and he's living real fucking good in the hood, and all he does is preach about how people of color are like fucking systematically oppressed while he's doing some oppressive shit himself by not turning down the jobs, by not calling the people that he knows he was biting from. There's people of color that I'm sure he be fucking citing works from that he could fucking call up and be like, hey, do you need a job? Do you need an afternoon lecture, in your schedule? Would that be good for you? No, none of that. He could be fucking reaching out to like young activists, that are out there like speaking, you know what I mean? He could be doing so much for the community, but he's not. He's complacent as fuck. And that's what I'm saying. There are different types of whiteness. There are the white people that will act like they good, and then there will be these white people that just let you know straight up they don't give a franken fuck about you, and their white privilege comes first. Okay, a good white person is a white person who's a race traitor, is a white person that's not gonna fucking use their privilege in front of you, that's not gonna fucking try and fucking slight you, but also it's in a lot of different, it's so insidious, it's in so many different ways that you have to be anti-oppressionist. You know what I mean? I can't explain to you all the ways. You can only know. I don't know the extensive nature of privilege. The privilege checklist that I have for white people is so fucking big that I know it doesn't capture everyday life. You know what I mean? I know it doesn't. But I know that like there are experiences that you have that I'm sure you don't recognize as privilege. And when you do, maybe you'll be able to fucking fight against it. But it's hard for white people to ask me what they could do to be a better ally, because it's like, well, you already know. Like, you already know what you're like. If you look into privilege, I'm sure you can figure out ways in how you are privileged, ways in which you are privileged, ways in which things happen for you. And yeah, Bougie Smalls, I do agree. The angry black woman's disease. I think, as I was saying earlier, there's nothing wrong with anger, you know? I think I think there's just there's so much there's so many things to be angry about in this world, and I think that it's dismissive as fuck to dismiss, especially a black woman's anger. Black people in general got anger, like, for legitimate reasons. The world is stacked against us, and I think that we don't really think about, like, the privileges that it takes to, like, remain sober in this society, to remain mentally able. I think there are a lot of differently abled people out there, especially in the black community, and I think because mental health is not looked at as a black issue, because again, we're strong black people, and that again, that has a lot to do with the objectification and like the slave mentality. We're seen as workers, we're seen as again, productive products, what we can make. So as far as people of color go, we're told we're this box, and if we ever crack or break or get fucked up, then we're this negative stereotype or this negative stereotype, this negative. So it's kind of like you kind of implode, and I think that you just try to function while imploding. And I feel like that's so many different like mental illnesses, but also like, so many different perspectives just from that implosion. I think that that's not talked about enough, about, figuring out privilege, figuring out your place in the spectacle, and like seeing it kind of like unravel before your eyes is kind of really interesting. But I think it's also something that's like also very like, it's anxiety ridden, because it's like, there are a lot of times where I don't feel like I'm doing work, where I feel like I'm just like talking about like my experience with the spectacle and with like this very oppressive like government that we live in, and then I go crazy because it's like I want to like fucking like, I try to like educate myself, I try to read about like our society, try to like find works that other people are writing, and it's all like this, it's all like flags like anti-Americanism and stuff like that, and like it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's the thing. Like, America's an imperialist, like, shitty, fucking, horrible machine. And, like, we're never told that. Like, from, like, the birth of our life. Like, we're taught, like, the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. We're taught, like, America the Great. We're taught Eagles and 4th of July. We're spoon-fed all this garbage, and it's like we grow up in it, and the thing is, our experiences are not what we're fed. Like, we're taught Americana, but like our lives would suggest something much different. When a lot of our thoughts or ideas on what things are, we see them through like this white gaze. We see them through like white people's bodies. We see ourselves through white people's bodies sometimes, and I think that that's why it creates such like a body dysmorphic kind of feeling. And I think that that also contributes to like gender, and and how like people present, and like how people feel, you know how they bougie smalls, you're sweet. But I'm just like, dude, like, I don't know, like, I try like to not be like elitist about like educating yourself, because I think like there's only so much you can do, and I understand that can be like very ableist to be like, you should educate yourself, because I realize not everybody has like the same capabilities. But I think that there's so much information out there, like whether or not like you're a tactile learner or someone that needs like audiobooks or something. I think that there's so much information out there, and I think that like there are sources to get it. I think that it's important to like really look into it. Like, it's important to like really like just try to find spots. And I realize that there's like so much stuff that like it's hard to find. Like, there's so much I found on Tumblr, which really sucks, because like people like always shit on Tumblr, and it's like there's so much shit that's like fucked up on Tumblr, but like there's so much shit that like people are like contributing, like, and it really like shits on them. Yeah, no, I don't call myself an African American either. I don't call myself an American either. I call myself black, and I feel like that's like, it's legitimate and it's real. Um, exactly, Amina Patrice. And that's the thing, like people do, like, don't get me wrong, people do hyphenate German American and Italian American from time to time. But the thing is, like, that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? It's meaningless. It's very meaningless. I feel like African American, Asian American, like all those things were like made to like make us, to help us assimilate. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of American are you? Because you can't be American, because American means white. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like a juxtaposition. Like, it doesn't really mean anything. It's like a fake. It's like fake, you know what I mean? Like, America's so fake. Like, America's a sham. Like, it's not real. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing about America. Like, that I just like, that really blows me, is like, there's no culture. There's no culture here, because all the culture that was here was like taken and burned and like destroyed and sold. You know how many white people be on fucking Antique Roadshow, fucking selling legacies, selling things from First Nations people, from African people, from all types of people all over the fucking globe, and just like selling it and just making a profit off of it, instead of giving it back to those, like, those people, those communities, giving it to people, of those lands, like, just not like giving them to like, to the people in which they belong. They'll go and get it appraised, and they'll sell the fuck out of it and make some money. God damn, it fucking pisses me off. It's just like, but America is just like, it's just, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think, like, at first, like, before I even got into this, like, I was just, like, struggling to understand, like, the world and how things were supposed to work. Like, I'm supposed to, like, work all the time so that I can, like, live in a box and, like, watch a box and eat food out of a box and like, take the food out of a box, and that's it, and that's my life, and that's my every fucking day, and that's all I'm supposed to do. And like, it's just like, with all the laws that they create, all these things, it's like it's making it harder and harder to travel, harder and harder to go anywhere, harder and harder to leave. It's just like, it's getting scary, and like, people are just like, oh, VMAs, oh, TV, oh, iPhone 11. It's just like, wow, you know what I mean? It's like the biggest fucking like marionette puppet show you've ever seen. And everyone's complicit. Everyone that's being paid, like all the bourgeoisie, all these like famous people, they're paid to make movies about nothing. You know what I mean? It's uninspiring garbage. All of it is like the same shit. Everything that you like has already been done, and it's been better. It's been a million times better. Shit is just getting worse. All of like the shit that we like, it's like shit that like used to be awesome. It's just like, what the fuck? The only awesome thing about this time is the internet, and they're trying to take that motherfucker away. And honestly, the internet's not even super awesome, because I think that like the internet was created to like watch people even further and to get deeper into their lives and to like fuck them up even more, because I feel like the internet can like be used for really positive things, but it is used for so many fucked up things, and it's like taken advantage of by so many fucked up like corporations and used in so many fucked up ways. And even like, it's just like, what the fuck? The idea that your computer can get a fucking virus. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that? The fact that, like, you buy a computer for, like, thousands of dollars and it's useless after a year. Like, doesn't even fucking work. It's just, like, fucking broken. It's like, what kind of technology is this? You know what I mean? And it's like, every year we get, like, this new technology, which I don't believe at all. I just don't believe it. It's like, I just feel like all this shit is planned. I feel like I just don't know what's next. I feel like every day I watch the news, something more wild is on TV. And it's just like, what do we do to stop it? Like, how, like, what do we do? Like, where do we go? Like, what? And it feels like so, like, anxiety ridden. Like, me and my family just started, like, crying because we were just like, what do we do? Like, we want to, like, yell, we want to fight, and, like, right now, like, all I can do, all I can handle, like, all I can really handle is talking about it. And I feel like that's, like, enough. And, like, I feel like anyone who, like, tries to, like, say that, like, any kind of activism is lazy is ableist as fuck. They don't know your situation. They don't know your limits or what the fuck you can do or what you can even handle emotionally, mentally, physically. You know, there are people who physically cannot go outside and stand and picket and yell and talk to their neighbors or even, like, have conversations with people because it's anxiety ridden. Sometimes it freaks me out to talk about these things, and I can't help, like, it slips into every conversation because it's so permeating in my life. Like, I can't forget. I can't turn it off. I always remember, like, what's going on and, like, how, like, I hate it and, like, how I want to yell about it, and then constantly trying to remember, like how it's internalized in me and how I can be an oppressor as well, you know? And I think, like, I spend a lot of time talking about white privilege because that's, like, the most prevalent thing in my life. Like, I'm dating a white person. It comes up all the time. Like, dating someone white reminds me of white privilege, I think, way more than dating anyone else I've ever dated, like, a man of color in particular, or a woman of color, or a person of color in general. Because, like, when I'm with a white person, I always know, like, who I am in that situation. Like, when other white people interact with us, like, I'll go out. I remember, okay, like, case in point, I've been living with my boyfriend for, like, a little bit, and, like, I've never really met his landlord, and he's never really met his landlord either. So she came to the house once, and we shook hands, and I said hello, you know, I said who I am. Wow. It's a deep one. It's like a peanut. My esophagus. Excuse me for anyone wearing headphones. Coughing is serious. Yeah. Yeah, Couture, right, I agree. Yeah, I gotta powder my nose too, Sue. Exactly. See, that's the thing. Bish boom bye. That's not true. White people do have culture. There's so many things that white people have in their culture, but the thing is, they would rather take our shit. What, like, I had this white girl really try to say to me that she thinks she should be able to have fucking dreadlocks because she's Irish. And Irish people went through oppressive shit in America. And I'm sitting here like, but bitch. Like, what people don't understand is about cultural appropriation is cultural appropriation, like, the easiest way to kind of, like, explain it is, like, take, for example, a stop sign. And we're talking about an American stop sign. We all know what that looks like. It's an octagon with red and white. And it says stop on it, you know? If you took the words off of that and you put go on there, wouldn't people be fucking confused in America? Wouldn't they be really fucking confused? They'd be like, how the fuck, like, when the fuck did this change? Like, when, you know what I mean? It literally, if it started being called a go sign, people would have to be told. It would, like, there would be this whole thing about, like, how it's no longer a stop sign, right? There would have to be, like, this whole thing, and everyone would have to talk about it, and, or, like, it would have to be mandated, you know, something really big would have to happen, right? I'm sure. So, when you take dreadlocks, which was a signifier of blackness, which was bad, which was a signifier of a radical, which was seen as bad, which was a signifier as seen as dirty, stank, low class, not intelligent, not literate, then you, until you take those things away from dreadlocks, white people can't wear them. Because white people, yeah, some people are going to say you're stank or dirty. But white people, you're not going to get turned down for a fucking job because you have dreadlocks in. No one's going to think you some radical motherfucker or you some black power down ass brother or sister because you have dreadlocks in. You are just going to be the bitch with some dreadlocks in, and they might think you smoke weed. But literally nothing is going to fucking happen to you from you having some fucking dreadlocks in terms of what can happen to people who are black or people of color. Yeah, and as I was talking about, like, with my white partner, when I would like his landlord thought I was the fucking maid. Landlord came in the house, bitch, I'm making myself a sandwich. What is powdering my nose? I hope you get it. My boyfriend's landlord thought I was the maid, and I'm over here cooking. I'm over here cooking. And I agree with you, Sophia. As a black person who goes out for, like, I haven't gone out for job interviews in a fucking minute. Bougie Swallows, thank you. Oh my god, my throat is like fucked up. As a black person, exactly, lazy and unprofessional. As a black person who used to go out for job interviews, bitch, I used to be so fucking scared, like, to go out with my natural hair, to, like, have my little afro, especially, like, trying to get jobs in fashion, trying to get jobs, like, in front of, like, people, because I was really, like, I really had that internalized whiteness, like, deep inside of me, where I felt like I couldn't show my natural hair to nobody, where I could never have, like, a day without my wig or anything like that. And I feel like, Bougie, stop playing. But I feel like, you know, it was definitely, like, very scary. So I definitely, and I know that, like, me being able to, like, buy a wig or, like, do my hair in a way that's more acceptable for whiteness, I suppose that is definitely assimilation. Like, that's like me trying to, like, assimilate so that I can get this job and, you know, be a functioning member in our society where, like, the almighty dollar rules. So it's one of those situations where I was like, you know, I had to put my blackness aside, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's something that happens. I feel like, you know, I feel like a lot of times, like, because I'm oppressed on so many different levels, I feel like I'm a lot of different people. Like, you know, I feel like I'm fat around my fat peoples when I'm talking with them. But, like, my fat peoples, a lot of times, like, a lot of these, like, white fat girls that have followed me, they don't like to hear me talk about me being black and fat. They only want to hear me talk about being fat. But they don't want to hear me talk about fatness, you know, in regards to being a fat black person. And that's a big deal. Because as a fat black person, I was talking with my friend about this too. You know, we were talking about how, like, we're seen as, like, non-sexual or hypersexual. We're seen as women that don't get dick but will take any dick. Like, that is the fat black woman's, like, fucking bane in terms of, like, the fucking male gaze. We are seen as, like, hypersexual, but also, like, we don't get none. So I think when dudes approach us, they approach us in ways that are mad disrespectful, but also, like, really fucking fresh. Like, it's ways that, like, they're not trying to get to know you. They want to fuck you, and they want to know if you're down. And it's like I can't even. It's like I didn't even meet you. You know, I didn't even know you. I don't even know you. But, like, they're so down. Like, they're just, like, trying to figure out if you're down. And, you know, I think Sophia, I agree with what you're saying. We hide our blackness for survival, and they want to play dress up. It's true. I think white people truly want to talk about, you know, oppression because they want to be oppressed, and like they want to be oppressed. That's why white people wear bindis. That's why white people wear headdresses. That's why they want to know what the fuck it feels like to have that oppression, but they really don't. You feel me? Because if they did, they would fucking like if they really wanted to know what the fuck this shit was about, they would talk to the people of the races, of the cultures that they're stealing from, but they don't. A lot of these white people don't fucking give two fucks about the history of the bindi, the third eye adornment. They don't give a fuck to know about none of the, as I said, the signals, the signifiers. You know, dreadlocks are important to blackness because they were a sign of like so much negativity and like fucked upness. It was seen as like the ultimate like, you know, uncivilized hairdo. And the fact that like today men and women decide to wear that look, you know, in solidarity with like people, you know, who were treated unfairly, but also as, you know, as a hairstyle that is natural to their hair texture. It's insulting, you know, it's insulting. That's mainly what I wanted to say. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, you can be fat and not get hit on or have people be attracted to you, but I feel like that is like something that is ingrained in our fat phobic society, so much so that that is like part of like our dating life. And that part of our dating life involves men comparing us to fat women they've seen, comparing us to juicy, thick, coming up with all types of word plays to kind of get around who we are. And I think like fatness, I think fatness is really interesting because, you know, as a fat person, we talked about this in the park in New York. We had a really good conversation in the park. It was so good. Oh yay. Um, we talked in the park about how when you're fat from birth, you're ingrained with like self-hate. You know, from a young age, I was taught to police myself. From a young age, and you know, trigger warning for diet talk, trigger warning for weight loss, trigger warning for like fat shaming, by the way. I was taught like there were times where I would like try to see how long I could go without eating, and it wasn't so much like because I thought that like that was gonna have some impact in terms of like dramatic weight loss, but I thought, you know, I wonder like if I could, you know, just stop, you know. I wonder if I could just stop and stop eating. Like I was trying to get myself to stop eating, and I was just like, what the fuck, you know? Like why was I doing that at such a young age? And then like growing up, I just remember my mom comparing me. Like I had an aunt, and I was talking to Shay about this because she was like, yeah, she had an aunt who was, no, excuse me, not Shay, sorry. I was talking to Evelyn about this, and she was like, I had an aunt that was like really fat, and like they used to make fun of her, and then she got gastric bypass surgery, and now like she doesn't like herself, and she realized that like she didn't have a problem with her body because now she has a problem with her body. And I know a lot of people, yo, can I tell y'all? I think I told y'all this story before. I don't know, but tell me if I did. When I was in New York the last time, like shit, like right before, like I went to New York in fall last year, and I went to a Lane Bryant with my friend, and I was laughing because like I walked in and this girl like was like, she gave me this look, and I was like, oh my god, I think somebody knows who I am from the internet. And like I didn't like do anything extra. I was just like looking at leggings and stuff, and this girl comes up to me and she was just like, oh my god, she was like, you're Marshmallow. And she's like, and you got a blog. And like we started talking, and she was real cool. And then like all of a sudden, like all the girls at Lane Bryant started like going over my makeup, just talking about how pretty I was and da da da. And like I'm not gonna lie, I was looking fly. So I was like really appreciating it, right? But then when this one girl comes up to me, actually this one girl says to me, you're pretty. And I was like, thank you. And then she was just like, she's like, now that I see you, I wish I would have never got my surgery. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know what to say. And then she was telling me, like, about how she hasn't, she like doesn't like her body now. She doesn't feel comfortable. She said that she got surgery to like lose weight and they cut her open and like she's always in pain now. And like that really like triggered me a lot because like there were times I think where I thought about it, but like I'm broke as fuck. Why can't I live tonight? My voice was not trying to work. But I thought about like weight loss surgery like when I was younger, and but I'm like I've always been broke, so it's like a thought that like you have when like someone makes fun of you and you're like merp, you know what I mean? When you're like you know, I could just like not be fat. But like I think someone actually doing it and just telling me like this like really tragic story about how like they don't love themselves because of the weight loss surgery, it just like triggers me in a lot of ways, because I think that even now I still have like internalized fat phobia to work through. I think sometimes like it'll be like little shit too. It'll be like I'm going on a trip and I'll just like obsess for like 10 days before my trip. I'll be like, oh my god, if I like worked out like a little bit, like I would look so good. And it's like but it's not about like so much working out, like it's more so about like the goal too. It's like, oh, if I work out like for a week, or if I work out for like a month, like this, I'll look so good when I go on this trip, or da da da. And it's like, no, like I don't need to work out to go fucking see people, you know what I mean? Like I had to really break out of that, because like I go on a lot of trips, I visit with a lot of people, and like I started like getting freaked out, like, oh my god, I'm gonna like be like so like still fat but like look a little bit like less fat. And it's like, no dude, like no, like I'm gonna still be like me, like I'm me, and that's good enough, and these are my fucking friends. But it really just killed me that I like sometimes that happens, and like I do be slipping, you know, I made a video, I do be slipping, like just forgetting that like on the shit. But it's hard, you know, it's really hard sometimes to remind yourself that you're the bomb, and that like you deserve love, and that you deserve to like be treated good. Cause like sometimes when you don't treat yourself good and people treat you bad, you really don't like care. Like you don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? You don't fuck. You don't give a shit. Like you don't give a shit. Um yeah. Mm, I don't know. I'm just like in a mood where I feel like I just appreciate all y'all like talking and being in the chat is like mad important to me. I just want that to be known. I was recording this, so before I leave, I want to give a shout out to everybody that was here. Amina, Patrice, you're the shit. I love you and I appreciate you for being here all the way from London. Jellin from my melon, you're always contributing and I appreciate you so much, and you're so hilarious. VLM 2011, you're really awesome and I appreciate you for coming out too. Bougie Smalls, thank you so much. You always keep it live. Couture Writer, you always got some really great stuff to say in the chat and I appreciate that. Chakra Child, Body Positive Babes for Life, I agree, I agree. I think body positivity is so important. Allison Briscoe, I appreciate you for being here. Sophie Sophia, you're the shit. Anashra, you're the bomb. Hazim HK, I appreciate you. Like Cockatoos, what up? Stephanie Nav, Ayo. Shay Better, thank you so much. I love you, I love you, I love you. Again, for being bomb. Bish Boom Bye, thank you so much for coming out and chilling. Oh, hold on. Okay. Andrea, peace out, boo-boo. Love y'all all. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to stop this recording now. It's going to upload on YouTube, though, okay? Peace.